He was like a giant bear, intimidating bear.
It was very intimidating.
He was just on a level of all his own.
I probably had a crush on Pete Steele.
I mean, one of my favorite 90s bands is definitely Typo Negative. The origins of that are obviously Carnivore, which is an 80s band, but by the time the 90s came around, Typo is one of my favorite bands of all time, obviously.
The very first time I've personally heard a Typo Negative, I mean, I can't remember the day, but it was 93, 94, and it was when I started to hang out in a metal pub in Milano, which is not existing anymore, called Midnight. And they were obviously playing metal music, including Typo, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, what is this? It was amazing from day one, and I still love Typo very much.
I think I found Typo with a girlfriend, maybe when I was probably 17. She probably had a crush on Pete Steele. I probably had a crush on Pete Steele.
I've only met him a few times, but meeting him and his reading stuff on him, his sense of humor, his intelligence, and obviously his originality. He's one of my biggest influences, one of my favorite songwriters of all time. He was just on a level of all his own. I mean, he was a super intelligent guy. His lyrics they were clever and funny, or they were deep and dark. Either way, it was always something brilliant.
Pete was always a funny. He was like a giant bear, intimidating bear. Because we all kind of idolized his musicianship and his songwriting and loved Carnivore.
Second of all, I came up to his kneecaps, so I was like, and everyone from New York is very sarcastically frank and direct. Mm-hmm. That's what New Yorkers are. That's how we do it. We're a very blunt and brutally honest breed of characters in this city.
Yeah, especially in the beginning, we thought it was a very serious band. And then when we read the lyrics and read the booklet and all the funny stuff he was putting in there, we understood there was a irony, very New York style for us, because we grew up watching movies of Woody Allen, and so the typical New York stereotype comedy. And so we got that special spirit from him, and we loved it even more.
Pete Steele's lyrics, I think, are probably, in Carnivore, probably some of the best of the type, of that era, I guess if you want to call it thrash, and your late 80s, early mid 80s thrash is great lyrics. Who else did it? Wehrmacht and United Shoe Brothers, but Carnivore did it, I think, even better.
And he was hysterical. He used to drive around this handmade Mad Max car in Brooklyn, and you'd always know he was home because it was sitting right outside his house. And so him and Josh Silver from Typo lived on the same block in Brooklyn, and I used to hang out at Josh's house all the time working on music, and I hear all this banging and jackhammering and welding going on in the backyard. I'm like, what the hell is going on back there? Pete comes up the stairs. He's got Daisy Duke shorts. He's got his long legs and tube socks with the stripes on
to the knees,
and a headband.
Sick.
And he's like, "You got any Manhattan Special?" And he was building the Christian Women Cross in Josh Silver's Orthodox neighborhood.
Oh my God! Everything about
that was in the video.
Everything about all of it was a big bowl of wrong. Everything.
It was awesome, though.
Oh yeah, bands like Typo Negative, Paradise Lost have been a huge, huge influence, especially in the very beginning of Lacuna Coil. So we draw a lot of inspiration from them. We love their sound. We love the darkness in the compositions. And you know how it is when you start a band, you tend to reproduce the sound that you like, and that's what happened with Typo Negative for us.
Going back to Slow, Deep, and Hard. Like, like musicians, they often take riffs and maybe slow them down, change a few notes, change the feel. But there's a riff in Gravity that Peter based on the theme from the show The Munsters. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. No, 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 no. Slow it down.
The first time we met Peter Steele was in 2003 when we got the lucky chance to tour with Typo Negative. And can you imagine our excitement, one of our favorite bands ever on tour with us, Lacuna Coil from Italy. And I remember that the very first day on tour, I can't remember the club, we were shy into our dressing rooms, wondering how it could be to meet our idols. And sometimes you're afraid to meet your idols because you're afraid that they're going to turn out being assholes and not magic spirits as you imagine them. And I remember Peter coming in the room, looking at us just like, hey guys, welcome on this tour. I'm so happy to have you here. And we were like, starstruck. Oh my God, Peter Steele came in and say hi. And it was one of the best tour of our life, for real. It was very intimidating, like huge dude, very, very fascinating. It was super cool. My personal favorite characteristic of Peter is the sarcasm. It was very good in this. It was very, very fascinating, man. It was a pleasure to talk with him. And I was always mesmerized by the fact that he always looked a little bit sad underneath. And it was clashing with the idea of him, being surrounded by girls all the time. And I remember that we had short talk in between the tour, and it was a really deep person. And yeah.
Also I think culturally he was very aware of history, especially of European history. So he was absolutely very reading a lot, watching documentaries, very well informed and loved history of Europe and Russia and all the war times history.
Yeah, we were in the Black #1 video.
Yeah.
We were dressed up like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta look for us. And we were in the tree with that weird looking kid. Yeah, that was us.
There was snippets of us like with the lights blinking and like we were the Droogs. Yeah, we were the Droogs in the tree.
Dressed in the white long underwear.
Yeah.
And that was in Central Park.
I think in my mind I envision myself as someday maybe I'll be Pete Steele. But yeah, they were a band to me. I think I heard the Life Is Killing Me album. On Life Is Killing Me, it has, it's got Amnesia, Drunken Paris, I Don't Want to Be Me. I love that song. I want Carnifex to cover I Don't Want to Be Me. So yeah, there's just so many hits on that album. That's probably my favorite Typo record. It's nothing but hits, man. Nothing but hits. If you don't kill me, I'm gonna have to kill you. Come on, so good.
He took something that like no other band has ever sounded, in my opinion, like Carnivore or Typo Negative, and that's something that's gonna last forever, thank God. So, sadly Peter's not with us, but his music always will be.